with the previous sessions we completed up to chapter 6. So from this session onwards, so we are going to talk about chapter 7, that is e-business environment. So in the environment, in the e-business, we are talking about what the environment is. Okay, let's start the chapter. Business environment in 21st century. What is this business environment is in 21st century? That has actually you may have seen that not like early days. At present the business environment where the business are operating has changed a lot because of so many factors. Sometimes economically the country and the business has increased, not like those days, so there are so many customers, and also the technology wise it has been developed a lot, and also due to various activities now we have modernized business environment, not like early days. So all the infrastructure facilities, everything is developed well. So when we talk about the business environment in available today, so there are some factors we have to concern on. One thing is internal environment, the other thing is external environment. So there are two environment. Sometime maybe in the question paper if they ask what are the two environment available in business. So there are two factors available in business environment in 21st century. So what are those? Internal and external. So in this chapter we are mostly talking about external environment, that is the one which will be affecting mainly for the business. So if we take the internal environment, that talk about the environment with the organizations which operate or influence what they do and their ability to survive and grow. So environment within the organization. So you will be having an environment within the organization that is not external, that is internal. Internally how the environment is arranged. So I will highlight that here, environment within the organization. So let's say in the question paper if they ask, so you can create your own question like this. The environment within the organization is called what? Internal environment. Sometimes they will give the answer external environment and some other environment like that. So you have to select the best, the answer is internal environment. So like that you can create your own question. When you see this slide, so I have already created some of the questions and also what are available in the study pack also given here. So other than that, you can create your own question and you can be a question creator like that, and also then you will be familiar in developing questions when you understand the content, is the syllabus content. So in the internal environment includes all factors. What are those? All factors, parties and focus within the organization who influence the organizational activities. So like employees, organization structure, and internally the technology use, and also so many other internal people's involvement, the company event, and there are so many activities which have influenced the organizations. So and also so let's say that employees behavior and employees contribution and organization structure. Let's say sometimes the organization is having a GM and also some other staff under that person. So suddenly there was a huge change. So there is another CEO implemented, CEOs introduced, and also then the organization structure also changed. And he came and he wanted to change the organization. Let's say under let's say if it is the CSE Lanka, there's a CEO, under that there's a HR division, admin division. So they want to merge admin and HR together. Likewise, examination and registration together. So they took the decision of merging the two, or otherwise separating those as two departments. So so it means the internal environment has affected by so many factors. So environment within the organization is called internal environment. So you have to remember that one very well. So, and also influential factors. Sometimes in the question paper they will ask it, there are some influential factors like employees and organization structures that will affect the organization. So what is the environment that is behaving? So that is internal environment. So let's go to the external environment. This is the most that in the syllabus they have given a very good weightage for this. So it's mostly discussed. So we have to learn lot of things about this internal external environment. So we talk about environment within the organization. Then of course you will get the idea like external environment or environment outside the organization. Yes, that's correct. So an external environment is composed of all outside factors or influences that impact the operation of the business. So we talk about the internal factors like employees, organization structure, like that, and internally how it is behaving, what the environment available in internally. As we take the CSE Lanka as the example. So CSE Lanka has an internal environment. So what is that internal environment? So other than that, externally who are connected? So that is the external environment. So outside factors or influences. So there can be so many outside factors that influence the organization operation of business. Let's say the teaching organization who are attached to teaching organizations who are attached to CSE Lanka, they can be the people who are in the external environment and they are connected with the CSE Lanka. They are influencing the CSE Lanka to change kind of syllabus changes and make the paper easier. There are so many kind of influences that they are taking. And likewise, there can be so many other factors who are which is involved with the organization to organization for the impact of the operation of business. So when they are doing the business, there can be so many external environment that can impact. The external environment can be broken down into two types. Yes, what are the two types? Micro environment and macro environment. So please remember. So we are highly talking about these two things. So definitely in the question paper these two things will come, micro environment and macro environment. In the next slide that we will be talking about what is micro and what is macro. Okay, so now you can understand very well about internal and external environments, right? Let's talk about the external environment next. So as I explained that there were two things in the external environment that is broken into external environment is broken down into two types. What are those two types? External environment has two types: macro environment, micro environment. So in generally, so I can give a very quick idea about what is this macro and micro is. So macro concern general environment, micro concern task environment. right? So when these two words come to your mind, you can understand the general environment and task environment. Sometimes in the question paper they will say general environment is referred to what? Macro environment. So there can be other answers also given. So likewise, task environment is related to is known as what? Micro environment. So the general environment that covers all the political, legal, economic, social and cultural and technological, that of course dealing with pest analysis. So those are the forces. How many forces? 1, 2, 3, 4. That forces affect not only individual organization but also the other factors in the microenvironment. So not only it's talk about not only the individual organization environment that affects. So these factors may affect the microenvironment as well, not only the macro, right? So please understand this one. So there is a relativity of these factors with the microenvironment as well. So this then where the pestle is come with. So we will be explaining that in the next slide. So then we'll talk what is this micro environment. As I said you, it is task environment. Relate to the factors in an organization immediate environment which affects its ability to operate effectively. So immediate environment. So its chosen markets such as customers, competitors, distributors, suppliers, those are the people who will be dealing with the organization in a quicker manner. So like customers. So they are the people who will dealing with you, and also the competitors. There are so many competitors in the market. Not like your organization. There can be other organizations who are doing the same business. So they are the competitors who are involving with your, who are giving some push to our organization to in say various activities. And distributors. So there can be distributors. So you are the manufacturer. So you will be giving the your products to the distributor to deliver. And suppliers. And also there are suppliers who give their product to you, who give their materials. So when you want the materials, you cannot develop your materials in house. So there can be some organizations that develop the materials self, but sometimes most of the organizations, what they do is they outsource the materials from some other. So they are the suppliers who give the materials to the organization. So if it is a factory, for the factory environment, there are some suppliers who give the materials, and also distributors are like, so they let's say if it is computer manufacturing organization, let's say Dell. Dell is a very good computer manufacturing organization which may be established in China, let's say. So then that organization, what they do is, they don't sell directly, that they want some distributors, they want some agents. So are dealing with some other organization, like in Sri Lanka, their Sublogic is dealing with them, and also Abans and PC House also they are earlier. So there was some organization, some distributors. They have engaged with the mother, that Dell mother company, and bring their products here and distribute. So they are the sole authorized distributors. So competitors are like that I explained you, and also customers. Customers are the main thing in the micro environment. So they are the customers are the king, as you may have learned about that one. So we have to have the customers. So organization immediate environment. In the more actually this key factor which I have now highlighted, please make sure to highlight this one. So organization immediate environment. So in somewhere it's talk about organization immediate environment, instantly the word should come to your mind is that is micro. Organization environment is micro, right? Macro is the general environment, micro is the task environment. So it's called the organization immediate environment. Sometimes when you write some of the answers, these two things will be complex. So you will not be knowing what's to be chosen. So please remember the difference between micro environment and macro environment and micro environment. And also the wording of this. If you remember this letters of this micro environments, you can understand macro environment. MACRO, MICRO. Only one word is there, MA and I. The difference is only one word. So at least in such a way that you can remember what's the difference, because when it comes to question paper, so there can be some question addressing these key features. So then you will have to understand it is related to what environment is. So as questions, what is this first question? With reference to the environment the organization operates in, the general environment is known as general environment. So what is that? Macro. So these are the normal sample answers, the answers and questions. With reference to the environment the organizers operate in the task environment. So if there is a question came in the last exam, if the question was related to general environment, so next time the task environment can come. Likewise you can think about. So if there is a question like this, we can create a question like this as well. So with reference to the environment the organizer operate in the task environment is, so what task environment is what? Micro environment. So answer is this. I think now easily you can answer for such questions. So here we talk about pest. Now we are going to talk about pest and pestle. What is pest and pestle? Please remember in the question paper also these things will be asking because they have given a very good weightage in the content also. So you can read and understand and also listen to these videos, and then it will be very easy for you to understand the content of the these environments. Okay, what is pest? Pest analysis. The analyze the micro environment and to identify the opportunities and threats which could affect the organization. So it talk about, as I will discuss here, pest. Pest is what? You know what the pest is, right? Political, economical, social and technological. Here from these letters is talk about political, economical, social and technological. So that macro is talk about macro environment, and to identifying what? Opportunities and threats. So what are the opportunities and threats which can affect the organization in the macro environment? So opportunities and threats are identifying in this pestle. What are the opportunities? What are the threats? So you know what the opportunities are, right? In your organization, there can be so many opportunities available in the external environment. So that can affect your organization. Likewise, you can there can be a some hidden area that you have not touched in your organization. Let's say you are dealing with some medicine, so you have not that be for the English medicine. So, but you have not touched the environment like herbal medicine. So you can touch that also and see. So there can be so many other opportunities. When your organization is dealing with some of the business, there can be some other business opportunities that you have not identified. So using the macro environment analysis, you can do those. And also with the threats. So there can be so many threats, so many competitors, so many threats. When you are implementing a new product to the market, so there are so many problems will occur in order to gain a good stand in the good level in the market. There are some competitors, there are some other product, byproduct, there are so many products which have the same features, but you are implementing the product also with the same features, then there is a threat of falling down that product. So there is a threat of not accepting in the market. So likewise, sometimes the price is very high. So when you are putting it a high price, so there is a threat of decline in that by the market. So can be there so many threats based on what? These political, economical, social and technological. There can be political threats, economical threats, social threats and technological threats. Likewise, there can be political opportunities, economic opportunities, social and cultural opportunities and technological opportunities. So when it comes to Pestle, please understand about this opportunities, threats and macro environment. Political, economical, social and technological. So what is Pestle is? This is an extended version of Pest. Right? You know that PEST is there, only the adding is EL. So what are those two addings? Environment and legal. There is nothing other than that. So they talk about political, economical, social and technological in the Pest, and addition is environment and legal. So environmental factors and also legal factors. So this is a very easy thing that you can understand, like as example the legal point of view. So some of the organization will put sometimes in the political aspect there can be some legal things come into actions. As an example, in this new government, they did not allow people to purchase cars from abroad. So they stopped that one. So then the car price goes up. Likewise, there can be so many legal boundaries that they can establish, and that came from the political influences, and then ultimately it came a legal bound. So like as environment also can be affected. So there can be so many environmental aspect due to disaster, due to corona, and there can be some other social aspect also. Because of those additions, so this Pestle is used. So in the next slide we will be talking about these things very well. So there's a simple question, what is pest analysis? Pest analysis is a framework to analyze macro environment. See, it's the analysis the macro environment to identify the opportunity. Same thing is given here. So likewise, if you can remember, when it comes to Pestle, the word should remember is macro and also opportunities and threats. So if you know this macro and opportunities and threats, then it is understandable to write the answers. And if you know what is P, what is C, what is S and what is T, This is very good. You will be having a very good understand to write the answers. Okay. Political. So we will be talking about each of the element of this pest and pestle. What is political and legal is? The government policies affect national economies, and governments are responsible for creating and maintaining a stable framework in which business can be carried out. So, actually the government are responsible for creating and maintaining a stable framework. So, in order to run the business, you should have a stable government. It means governments are the people who are giving the political black and also taking some legal bounds with so many business environments. Let's say some of the government policies can be given as the example for this, then you can identify it very easily. So, let us say physical infrastructure. So, the physical infrastructure, transport, broadband network. So, government is doing some of the improving the physical infrastructure. So, early days have you seen carpet roads in Sri Lanka? It's very rare. Only the highway road and some other roads in Sri Lanka was having the carpet road that was developed by English people. So, after that there were no any carpet road. So, now if you have seen that everywhere you can see the roads are carpet. So, it means infrastructure has been developed. So, that is easy for what? Transport. And now early days how was the internet? When you want to go to internet, you have to go to the internet cafe or somewhere to access the internet. You didn't have your internet connection in your hand. But now you see, if you want to refer to any of the information, that is available in your hand. That is the smartphone that you are using. So, using that one, you can access broadband networks. So, now infrastructure is developed and it is modernized. So, if there are new infrastructure which is coming to your hand, so that is a very good business opportunities that the government is placing. So, then social infrastructure, education, welfare, law enforcement, equal opportunities. So, in socially what the country need? So, welfare facilities, law enforcement, let us say in the organizations. So, when you are working in some of the organization, they provide ETF and EPF. That is the law enforced by the government that every organization should register with the EPF and ETF, and they should provide the EPF and ETF to the staff. It's a must. So, those are the kind of law enforcement, and the equal opportunities for all the women and females. So, they are giving equal opportunities, and education wise they are giving so many educational kind of things. Likewise, the UGC will may monitor all the universities, and there can be a special place like Department of Examination to handle the educational examinations, and social infrastructure that required by the people will be given by government. So, government policies and procedures that will impose the improvement of the business. The tax. So, this is a very good thing. In tax there are so many tax imposement. let's say car tax. If it is, then normally you know that Sri Lanka the vehicle tax is more than 100%. If you buy a vehicle of 1 million from Japan, so they impose a tax of another 1 million or other 2 million. Normally it is another 2 million, right? If you buy it at 1 million, so the final cost will be the 3 million. So 2 million as tax. So likewise, let's say if government reduce that tax into 25%, so then if you buy a car at a rate of 1 million, you have to pay 12.5 million, 1.2 million, sorry. Likewise, only the tax amount will be 250,000. So likewise, the government can impose so many taxes. So that will come as a influential tool for all the business. Their transportation cost will reduce. Sometimes if the fuel taxes are reduced, then if the fuel prices are reduced, then what will happen? That will incur a cost of the transport. The transport cost will be reduced, and when you are using good infrastructure like roads, so it is easy for you to drive in the road. So that will save some cost. Your car will not be damaged most of the times because you have very good infrastructure. And trade regulation, when you are trading, there can be so many regulation in the stockbrokering firms also. There can be so many taxes imposed, and you cannot sell your own thing as you want. So there can be so many things, barriers, and also policies and procedures that can be imposed by government. So that will mainly affect your organization. And political stability in a country can also affect the macro environment in which a business operates. The political stability of the country that affect the organization. You may have seen that in the stock market, if the government is changed, what will happen? Stock market sometimes goes up, sometimes that can goes down also. In today's environment, what has happened is due to political instability, so stock market has gone down. That is why where the dollar price also going up, and we don't have dollars in hand. So there's a very good instability that we have to think about. So that's a very good topic that you can study this further. As a question, but we are given, what is the P in Pest analysis? Political, you know what is that term? Political, economical, social and technology. So okay, so we completed political and legal environment. So what is this economic? So earlier we talked about there's a relation, right? See, political and legal and economics. So when interest rates, inflation is there, there's a relation in the political. So actually the political means general policies and procedures that will be imposed by the government. So economic is a business can be affected by national and international economic factors. So based on the economic factors like inflation, you know what the inflation is. So earlier I may have seen that there was one article or picture that it's like a e-flyer. So I saw in the internet in Sri Lanka in 2020 one apple one apple fruit, that price will goes up to 100. Those days one apple was around 5 rupees, not even 5 rupees. Then people will say it's a joke, but no one was accepting that. But after 20 years of duration, what has happened? Now the prices has increased. So that is the inflation. So when there are so many, when there are some situation, so that can happen. In some of the countries, I have seen that some of the notes, rupee notes, then money notes are in the road because there is no value. So they have put that in the road because that inflation goes up and up. Ultimately, there was no value of some of the notes. Let's say if you have a 20 rupee, so if you cannot buy anything from your 20 rupee, if it is like buying a small toffee, so will you be using that one? No. Sometimes some people will put it in the road. So likewise, the inflation will give so many influence to the economy. And interest rate, you may have seen that the today's, what is the loan interest rate? That is 8%. And some organizations giving at 7. But early days, you may have seen that the interest rate was about, in 2 years ago, that was around 16. For personal loans, that was around 16, right? And likewise, likewise, the not only the interest rate, because of that factor, the interest out of the loan and also the saving, so that can increase and decrease. So because of those factors, that mainly affect the businesses. When you are dealing with business, these factors will mainly affect. So exchange rate, it is something like, now actually, in 5 years ago, $1 price was around what? That was 140. But now it is 220. How the inflation goes up? So exchange rate goes up. Likewise, those factors will affect the economy. So we will open this unemployment level. Wait. So in the Department of Census, they are talking about the unemployment level, labor force participation rate by gender, and you can see there was some information given there. Employed population. What is the employed population? Labor force, employment rate, likewise it is given, right? You can see that one. In the age wise, employment is given 15 to 24, over 40, but the employment is there. So these are kind of factors that most of the law organization is looking for. Based on these factors, they can do their businesses. If your business is targeting age range of 25 to 29, so you know how many are there. Likewise, these are kind of employment statistics that can be used by the organization, and also because of these factors change, the business also can be changed. Unemployment rate by level of education. See, gender grade 10 or below. There are some people below 10 and below grade 10, and grade above A level also there are some figures. And district wide unemployment rates. How many unemployment rates are there in district wide? In Gampa, where is the highest? Mathura, yes, Mathura is the highest. Likewise, there are some unemployment factors there. So, how it is increased also there, whether it's increasing and decreasing in each year because of the government change also, these factors can be changed. Okay. So I'm unemployment level. So if you study this report, you can go to the annual bulletin 2020 available in the statistics department website. So there you can find out the unemployment level report. So in that it described about the unemployment rates in Sri Lanka. So those factors are very much useful for any organization when they are taking decisions, and also that can mainly affect to the organization. So those are kind of the economic factors. And business cycle and trend in national income. In the national income, there can be so many trends. Now the national income has gone down a lot due to this COVID-19 situation, and also due to various factors. And business cycle also going down these days. So they are going under the level that they expect. So those are the things that affect the economy. International trade, balance of payment. So international trades are also these days getting down. Now they have imposed a lot of rules and regulations to stop some international trades also. So now we are not dealing with foreign countries because we don't have dollar funds in Sri Lanka, so we have stopped that one now. So likewise, there can be so many economic factors which affect in the external environment. International trade is the exchange of capital, goods and services across international borders. Now due to this COVID-19 situation, as government has stopped this international trade, that will not going forward. It means because of those decisions of the government, we are not importing cars, we are not importing vehicles, we are not importing lot of things because we don't have funds. You should have dollars in hand. It means the government, the country Sri Lanka should have dollars in hand to spend for buying international trades. So those kind of regulations affect to the economy. Business cycle that we will explain in the next slides. What the business cycle is. If you see this one, business cycle. So you are at this stage, right? Let's say your business is at this stage. then it will be expanding. Now you have started the business as a newcomer. Now you are expanding that one, your business go up, 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 up. Then it come to the peak, right? This is the level it comes to the peak. Then you have achieved a very good income, you are profitable, now you give bonus to the staff also. Now you are at a very good stage. Now you are matured, right? Now you are matured. So suddenly, because of so many reasons, now you think that you are stable, you can run it like this. But there were so many competitors come into action, there were competitors. Now customers are using your product, but there were no any new features embedded to the, included to the product. So what will happen? Customers see that okay, there are no new features, there are some other product that has very good features. Why don't we buy that one? Then they go with those product. Then it goes down like this, right? Then it goes down. There is a level that it came where no income is there. Then that can go further and further. So recession, expansion, peak, recession, then depression. Depression is the place that you don't have any income, it's going down and down, right? So it also come to a place where it stop, that is drop. Then when it come to this, okay, now everything has happened, now organization is again recovering. Now they are recovering and come to this stage. Okay, they have stable a little bit now in the market. Okay, now it is again expanding and going to peak and recession. So this whole thing will go as a cycle. So you can understand this very well. So this is called a business cycle. So there is a peak stage where for any of the products, let's say, it doesn't mean that all the organization will affect it. For some of the products also this business cycle can happen. So for some of the product there can be expansion, peak and recession, depression, trough and recover, like that. This cycle also will be for some of the product, and also some products will be failing like. So you have to understand in different aspect when you are talking about this business cycle. So I think it is very understandable to you. So I'll play a little small video, then you can understand it well.
The business cycle, or economic cycle, is the fluctuations of gross domestic product around its natural growth rate. It includes both expansion and contraction in economic activity. Let's take a closer look at what a business cycle really is. It consists of sequences, so it could have a boom, which is characterized as a period of economic growth or rising gross domestic product. It could also be measured as a recession, which is a period of shrinking economic activity. At the end of the day, stages of the business cycle are measured in terms of GDP. Let's look at each of the stages in more detail. The expansion phase or growth phase has positive economic indicators such as high employment, high incomes, and high demand for goods and services. Now let's look at the peak. At the peak of the economic cycle, the economy reaches saturation, which means growth has started to slow down and halt. Prices are at their peak and consumption is at its maximum level. Then things slow down with a recession. During a period of recession, there is less demand for goods and services. Economic indicators start to decline, including things like income and wages. And typically, a recession is measured as 2 or more quarters of declining gross domestic product. Continuing on, we can have a depression if there is a prolonged recession. Depressions do not happen in every economic cycle. They are extremely rare and only happen during very, very severe recessions. The trough is the bottom point of this cycle. and it is the point at which things turns around and starts growing again, which leads to a recovery. This is where demand starts to pick up due to low prices and supply starts reacting. Employment starts rising and there is investments made in businesses. And this cycle continues to repeat over and over again, forming the overall business cycle of the economy. Thank you for joining us for this quick tutorial on the...
Okay, let's talk about this cycle. So not only in the product way, but only in the business way. So economy also going like this. So some is going expansion at the peak and recession. So now I think that the government also is struggling at this place. So there can be this kind of cycle in some of the countries as well. We have seen that practically, and when political background into come into actions, these things sometimes will change, sometimes will be good, and sometimes can be bad. So as questions what I have given to you, what is the best statement for international trade? So we talk about international trade. The exchange of capital, goods and services across international boundaries is the international. So when you talking about these factors, this is the best one that you can identify, and it also given in the slide that we talked about earlier. The same thing was given. So please understand these things. Which one is the national and international economic factors? We talk about economic factors. In the economic, so how does this affect? What are those? We talk about inflation, we talk about interest rate and exchange rates. So answer is this one. Okay. Then we will talk about social factors. What are these social factors? Demographic factors, cultural factors are important for understanding the market and developing marketing strategies. They can also be important in developing organizational HR policies as well. So when you are doing a strategic plan, when you are doing a marketing strategic plan, so you have to understand about these demographic and cultural factors. It is something like the age-wise distribution, income. See, we have given some social factors. Income distribution, in how the income is distribution among people. And in the office also, that can be, you can analyze. If you are working in an organization, there can be some people who are rich, who have good money, and also some have no money. Likewise, the income also distributed accordingly. So level of education also you can understand. In Sri Lanka, how the level of education. If you go to the statistics website in Sri Lanka, Static Department has published the level of education of people who are having education less than 10 grade and more than O level, and also above master level and like that. So there are some level of educations. Those factors will affect as social factors to the business and also in the organization. So within the organization also, when developing HR policies, these things also has to be identified. So let's say if you are giving very low salary for the staff, so they will not retain in the organization because there are some other organizations which pays well. So you know what is the income distribution of people in the country. So when you are developing HR policies and procedures, you have to concern about those things. So those are the demographic and cultural factors. And attitude to work and leisure. So in organization level also, people would have some attitude to work and attitude to leisure. So they can have intervals. So there can be so many factors in let's say in the New Year season, you must give some leaves for staff to have their celebrations. So if you are not giving, what will happen to your organization? Your organization trustworthiness with the staff will goes down. So you have to have those things. So an attitude to consumption and lifestyle choices. So in consuming also, there can be so many various of consumption level. Sometimes some of the people will not eat more and they don't consume more products because they don't have money sometimes, and sometimes because of the health factors they are not using much. And lifestyle choices, so there can be different lifestyles. So some of the younger generation, as per the demographic factor, let's say from the age over from 15 to 30, 15 to 25, there's the younger generation, youngest generation. So they will be having a different lifestyles. So they have different choices. So when you are developing a new product to the market, this external environment has to be analysis. So then you know the age between 15 to 25, these are the lifestyle they have. So if you are reaching the international boundaries like Australia or whatever countries, their lifestyle also can be different, not like in Sri Lanka. But when you are implementing a product for a certain social environment, so you have to identify the social environment factors. Let's say if you are in India, there was a very good story that KFC came into action. So they implemented KFCs in India. So what happened is most of the people are vegetarians. So that product was declined by the market, because if they are going to implement that new branches in the area where most of the people are vegetarian, so there are so many dislikes there. So then they cannot have their income as they prefer. Then they change their product into vegetarian aspect. Then one by one the people will join with them. So likewise, there can be so many social factors that influence the organization decision making. So you can, I think it's very easy, clear to you now. As question, what is the correct social factor? Birth and death rate. So yes, it's a social factor because that's a demographic factor. Birth rate, death rate. If you see the statistic in Department of Statistics, so they have given what's the death rate of Sri Lanka, what is the birth rate of Sri Lanka. In today, you may you have seen that our population is 20 million. But after 20 years of time, so what will be our population? That can be forecasted. And if you are planning some strategic marketing activities for 10 years duration, based on these social factors like birth rate, death rate, and you can target your market. In after 10 years time, what will be your market? Then you can develop your own product by doing researches. After 10 years time, we are going to launch this product to the market. Likewise, birth rate, death rate, average age, ethnicity, those are the factors as social factors we are considering. So, answer is all of the above. What is the correct statement for social factors? Demographic and cultural factors are important for understanding the market and developing marketing strategies. It is given here. See, same thing is given in a question. So, it is clear to you now, I think. So, technological environment. So, developing developing in technology affect all aspects of businesses through reducing cost, improving quality and leading to innovation and new product development. So, when it comes to technology, because of technology what will happen? You know that we can reduce cost. If you want to, let's say, if you want to inform something to, if you want to send some document to someone, the 50 years ago what we did, we took transport method and delivered that document. But when it comes to fax machines, so we fax that one. All those things was cost, there was a cost involvement. But by using systems or by using emails, we can do the same, and that is very less cost. Sometimes there is no cost even. So, using technology that has reduced cost. So, technical development that has affects the business. Improving quality, the quality of the product also can be increased. So, because of technology you can check the products very well. You do not need to involve the human interaction for checking the products. You can use some machines. So, from those machines that will check the products, and quality is improved now, not like those days, and leading to innovations. So, that leads to the innovation. So, new technology can be put on, then we can do so many research and come up with very good new innovations. So, then because of new innovation and also adding some technologies to the already available product and do some innovation, and also new product also can be developed accordingly. So, these things are influences by technology. It means because of technology, cost reduced, quality improved, innovations are there, new product development are there. So, all this has happened because of technology. So, in the Pest analysis, the T, the technology element has given a very good impact to the business. Technological development can result in new product and services. So, because you are doing so many innovations, not like early days or that you have very good technology, you are using that technology and do the new product. Let us say one example, you have a laptop in your hand, by using you are doing some kind of work. So, that laptop is little bit old, that has normal hard disk and also RAM and processor like that, and then new innovation came into action, not like early days. Now your laptop is very fast because of SSD hard disk, because of DDR or some other very good technological RAMs, and processors. So new innovation have invented, new innovation has came into actions. So new product, according to new product can be developed. You can develop a new product from that. So, so because of technology, these things can happen. So product and services, technology development can result to new product and services. Product and services can be improved. Even the service industry also will be improving because of the technology. So when you want to give a new service to some customers, so you can have your own online platform. By using that, you can give your services wherever they are located. You don't want to worry about where they are located. You can give your services to their footstep. Method of producing and providing product and services. Because of technology, the method of producing. Now, if you take by using a typewriter, you may have seen that you have taken about 2 hours to draft a document. Now, using a computer, you can do it within half an hour's time. Now, you may have seen that you don't need to type actually. From your mouth you can speak, then that will recognize by the computer and that will translate it to English, or that can translate it to single even. So those are new method that allow for developing and providing product and services. So that could lead to change in the organization cost base. So cost factor can be reduced. So so if you did some work within 5 years time before 10 years ago, now you can do it within 1 hour's time, within half an hour's time. So because of what? Because of technology development. Sales channel. So and media for communication. So using internet technology, social media, now there are so many sales channels. Have you seen this in 1990, 1999, after 2000, when technology development imposed to the environment automatically by various factors. So there was so many development came across. Now when doing marketing also, we are using social media. So it has become a very good influential tool for influencing the people to buy the product. So you can do your marketing activity by using social media. So I think I have seen that 10 years ago there were kind of thing that when using social media, oh, that's not an influential tool. We don't need to use social media. It's like bogus media. Likewise, there was some rumor going on everywhere. So when organizations were not intending to develop social media platform for marketing, now what has happened? So have you find an organization which has no social media? Every organization is having a social media for communications. And can you find a organization which has no internet? So everything are interconnected now. Now using sales channels and media for communication. So that has given a very good influential tool by using technological development. So ways to analyze market, such a database system to enable mining. So in order to analyze the market, you don't need any people to go here and there and analysis. You can use the internet, you can use the database which is given by so many various authorities, and do your market research. So because of technology development, it has came into your hand, right? So organization structure to exploit technology. So organization structure, not like those days You may have seen that it has vastly spreading everywhere in Sri Lanka now. Because of this COVID-19 situation, everybody is going to work remotely. So, it is now easy to work from home rather than going to office. So, organization structure also has changed now because of technology. Because of technology, organization structure is changed. In the supply chain also, that integrate so many activities together by using technology. Because of technology, when you want to deliver some goods to Japan, when you want to deliver a good to Japan, some product to Japan, so at the time of taking the form by form filled by the form by the courier service provider, so they are labeling it. So using that, the system that involved in the supply chains are taking that readable information from the label and feed to their systems. That happens automatically. So when you go, when your parcel is going to airport, you from the systems you can the customers, if you are the customer, you can see from the system that where is your parcel is located at present. So whether it is deported from the airport, so and also when it is reached to the to Japan airport, you can see that it is in the Japan airport now. So when it is delivered to the relevant person, you know that it is delivered. When it is delivered, you will get the message that it is delivered. So all these things as interconnected together, use the supply chain mechanism also interconnected together by using the technology. So you can see that how the technology has given a very good power to the supply chain and also all of the organization processes. Environment. This can include public concern for natural environment, corporate social responsibility and sustainability. Environment factors like local, national, global level. So global environment can be the national environment, and likewise the environment factors also there. So identify opportunities and threats in organization home region only, across the organization home country, across number of countries. So you in the environment, let's say your organization is doing the business locally, right? So you have to identify the opportunities as the threats available in the local market. So you are locally, you are doing the business that you are doing is for Colombo people only, home region only. But later on you are decided to deliver your product to the whole country. So national level environment is concerned here, national level factors are concerned here. So you are identify the opportunities or threats available in where? In national level. Earlier you talk about, you analyze the regional level opportunities and threats. Now you have spread your products in all over the country as national level. So you are identifying opportunities and threats. When it goes to global, out of the country, so you are delivering your products to India, Australia, for so many countries you are delivering the products. So you can identify the opportunities and threats available in all of the countries. So, global opportunities and threats can be identified. So, so it's a very good factor. So, using e-business, you can reach this global environment very easily. The global environment factor can be reached very easily, because through online you can do your business, you can reach the location very quickly. You don't worry about the location where you establish your organization. If it is a service industry, so it very easily you can give the service to other organizations, because you don't need to deliver any good product. So, if you want to deliver any product to some other country, so you can do it by using supply chain, using the e-business. You can take the orders and then deliver the product to the place. So, you can outsource the distribution channel, then you are reaching the global environment. So, mostly the multinational companies, they are going to reach this global market. So, in different countries, the market opportunities are very different, and sometimes that will be negatively affect to your business, sometimes that can be positively affect your business. So, when you are going to implement some product in some countries, you have to think about their market. If you are a gem business company, so if you are going to sell your gems in some other companies, some other country, that country people will not accept those things because they are so poor. So, there is a market in some other countries that the gems are sold in a high level. So, you have to identify the opportunities and threats available in those markets by analysis so many factors. And the natural environment. Here we talk about natural environment. Because of natural environmental changes, so many factors will influence your business process. Let's say due to COVID-19 situation, what has happened to the businesses now? That's an environmental factor. So, it has affected us in a national level and also in global level. So, earlier in local level it was affected because we found corona infected person from Colombo somewhere, I think, as the first one. So, locally it was affected, then it went to regional level and also national level. Now it is spread everywhere in the country, and also it was found from the China. It was spread within China and then spread globally. Now everywhere you can see coronavirus. So, it's a natural environmental factor that can affect badly for the business. Likewise, flooding and so many different factors, tsunami, and those things also can influence the business environment. So, those are the public concern we are talking about. So, in the question paper, the environmental fact can include public concern for the natural environment, corporate social responsibility and sustainability. This can be addressed in the question paper sometime. When we regard to corporate social responsibility, it's you know these things, right? When you are dealing with the organizations, you know that the corporate social responsibility is there. As an example, I will say that there are some people there are some children in open age house. So they need some technology lab. So you are going to develop that lab by using using the method of corporate social responsibility. So you collect some money from various people, and as a project that you are going to develop, so you are implementing establishing a computer lab in that orphanage home. So ultimately it is developed and it is given to the users of there. So that means that you have reached the corporate social responsibility, you have identified the corporate social responsibility. So, and sustainability of the organization and also environment also is assessed here. So I don't think that we don't need to go further on that one. What is legal? Factors can include legal matters in relation to employment law. We talk about this anti-discrimination policies which is imposed by the government, consumer protection laws, health and safety laws. So this health and safety law is imposing by the government at present for COVID-19. So you can understand this one very well now, right? So these are the legal factors influence for business processes. So in the pest analysis we talk about all pestle. The pestle has so many pests, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items are discussed. In addition, environment and legal. So, okay. What are the limitations of pest analysis? So, in the question paper, you can this can come, because you can create your own question. What are the limitations of what is the limitation of pest analysis? So, one of these answers can be given. External factors are dynamic, change frequently and rapidly, become obsolete. So, external factors that we cannot control most of the times. So, it's dynamic and change frequently. So, there is a changeable influence is there. So, that can change instantly and rapidly due to various factors. So, that we cannot stop sometimes. So then and also can be obsolete. So, the technology that you are using today can be obsolete tomorrow. So, that will be not be using by tomorrow sometimes. Let us say the Microsoft are going to change one platform from tomorrow. Let us say they are going to stop Skype and go with Microsoft Team tomorrow. So, what will happen? So, the techno that you use today will not be available tomorrow, that is obsolete. So, likewise the factors available in the external environment can be changed frequently. Analysis will be a time consuming and costly. When doing the pest analysis, there are so many things that you have to do. So, when changes happen very frequently, can you do the analysis? It is not predictable. Actually, you can have a very good concrete answer for the analysis, if the factors are changing frequently, right? Because of environmental issues, the environment sometimes the cyclone can come because of tsunami. Because of those factors that affect your organization, business. So, you have invested a lot for analyzing. So, you have analyzed the market. So, what has happened then? The analysis has frequently changed. Because of disaster, that also can be changed. So, let us say as an example, 5 years ago, you may have planned the business market by using the pest analysis, how it will be in future. Let us say in 2022, 2005 has been forecast in 2018 or 2019. So, you know how the market will be dealing with and what are the product will be sold during 2000 to 2005, 2025. So, there are 5 years duration. So, you have developed your marketing strategies, how to market in the environment. But due to environmental factor like pandemic situation in the country, everything has stopped. Now, the plan you did will not be continuing. So, the cost that you involve for that also is not used. Due to the political and impact and the likelihood of occurring. So, potential impact. So, impact can be happen very quickly, sometimes will not be happen. The likelihood, the way it happen, whether it is happening or not, how many times happening, its the occurrence, how many times is appearing, will be reduced. So, in such a cases, the prioritizing has to be done. What should do you at present, what should do at next. So, you have to prioritize your task. There is no guarantee that the organizer will identify all the environmental factors. It means actually when developing some strategies, can you understand all the environmental factors? No, you cannot. If you are going to identify all the environmental factors, it will take more time and it will be very costly. And even though you do, sometimes because of quick impact, when it is changing frequently and rapidly as is said here, there is no guarantee that the organizer will identify all environment factors. In strategic planning, the strategic options determined not only by the opportunities and threats in the external environment, but also by its own internal resources, competences, and capabilities. So, when doing the strategic planning, the strategic option determined by internal resources and competencies and capabilities. So, when doing the pest analysis, it's like strategic planning that you are going to do. So, you are identifying determining the internal resources and competencies and the capabilities you have. But sometimes those can be limited, those can be reduced due to external environmental factors. So, opportunities and threats you have today can be changed tomorrow due to external environment influences. So, those are the things, uncertain things which can happen in doing strategic planning. Which of the following, as example of questions, which of the following is not an example of political risk? Government regulation, political risk; war, political risk; civil unrest, political risk; cost of production is not a political risk. What is the best answer for pest analysis? The broad framework to help managers understand the environment in which their business operates. It's a framework that can help managers to understand the environment So it's understanding the environment in Vidya business business is operating in the external environment. So that is analyzing. So this is the answer that in the theoretical content that explained to you also included this same answer. You can refer to the slide in the back. So in pest analysis, low inflation rate is what? Would be what? It is an economic factor. And healthy and safety, what? Political factor. So likewise, some of the factors, like this, there can be so many factors will be given. So we will have to understand it is related to which. Trends in business arise from social, political, economic changes and advancement in society. Which of the following would be considered a factor in pest economics? You know what is pest is, so it's easy to write this answer. With reference to pest, technological factors are important to the extent that they encourage innovation in country or industry. So technological factors, how it is innovated the product, so how it encourage you to develop new product and services, which was explained in the previous slides. You can refer to that back slide and understand that. So this is the answer for that one. Which of the following would be considered the limitation of pest analysis? So we talk about limitation here. So it is asked as a question. External factors are dynamic and can change frequently and rapidly, for example due to advance in technology. So this is a limitation. Actually this limitation is taught in many ways in the syllabus also. Please remember this, factors are dynamic and change frequently. So that is the pest analyst limitation. So that will come to the examination most of the time. Okay, Delphi technique. What is this Delphi technique? So this is not given full. This has not given a very good weightage in the syllabus, but this technique is very useful for you to understand. In somewhere in the syllabus it is given. In the questions, I am not sure that it will be coming or not, but we learn what is this Delphi technique is. In Delphi techniques in analyzing, it has a facilitator. So you have a question, your organization is going to implement some product. So then what is the product that you are going to launch in the environment has to be analysis. So let's say that is the question. So that question will give to the expert. So there are so many experts in the areas. So that is given to them. So there are so many experts, they who are well aware of the subject. So it is given to the facilitator is the person who is coordinating the task. So he is giving that task to the expert. The expert will take the decision, right? Their step 1 is there, the step 2 taking, then they give it to the facilitator. The again facilitator is giving it to the expert. Then let's say that there are 5 experts giving their opinions. That opinions are taken by the facilitator, right? He will be taking this one, the opinion that is given by them will be taken, and then the facilitator collect those collect those information and develop one thing, one document based on this all the opinions. Then give it back to the expert to redo the work and redo their opinions. Then they take it and they understand, they give it back. Likewise, there can be several cycles until the correct thing will come into action. Then they are giving a final report to the management. So, for the management, they are giving the final report. So, this is the Delphi techniques. I am not going to explain more about that. There is a video that we can play and understand very well. We will play that one. It's a short video.
Hi everyone, it's Yanis here, and in this video we will explore what is Delphi method. It's often hard to know what will happen in the future, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to predict it. If this is your first time on this channel, then make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon to get updates on my latest videos about time management and productivity. Delphi method is a forecasting process framework based on the results of multiple rounds of questionnaires sent to the panel of experts. The Delphi technique is a method used to estimate the likelihood and outcome of future events. So let's take a look at what are the steps that need to be taken in order to get the best future predictions. Step 1. Choose a facilitator. You may wish to take on this role yourself or find a neutral person within your business. Step 2. Identify your expert. The Delphi technique relies on panel of experts. An expert is any individual with the relevant knowledge and experience on a particular topic. These might be people in your development team, your customers, or your friends with sufficient knowledge and understanding. Step 3. Define the problem. Here you have to clearly define the problem that you are trying to solve, as it plays an important role in the process. Step 4. Send questions. Once you have a group of experts and a clearly defined problem, you will send multiple rounds of questions to the experts. Each round of questions will go deeper into the problem or potential solution, as your follow-up questions will be based on previous answers. Depending on how complex is the problem that experts are trying to solve, it might take 3 or even more rounds of questions. Step 5. Act on your findings. Finally, you have to analyze the findings and put plans in place to deal with future risks and opportunities to your projects. Predicting the future is not an exact science, but Delphi technique can help you to understand the likelihood of possible future events and what impact they may have on your projects. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and
Okay, I have learned about that Delphi technique now. About the Delphi technique, I want to tell you that you may have the simple example is when in strategic planning workshop. So there can be the staff can be divided into groups. Then the task is to find out opportunities and threats of the organization. Then all of the people will be writing as a team that will be present. So there are 5 teams, let's say, the 5 teams will be present that one. Then that information right by 5 teams will be gathered together, will be merged, and then develop a final report. Let's talk about opportunities and threats of the organization. SWOT analysis, let's say SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness, and opportunities and threats. So, in such workshop, this Delphi method is used. Okay. Triggers. What are triggers? What does mean by trigger? In order to respond effectively to those opportunities and threats. So, you are going to respond to what? Opportunities and threats in the organization to make changes to its current products, market processes. In this way, the environment can act as a trigger for change in the organization. In the simple theory, this one I will tell in one word. Triggers are motivators. Motivators, do you know what is motivator? So, I am motivating you to study. and pass the examination. So, you are motivating someone to buy some products. You are motivating your child to study well. So, triggers are kind of motivators which stimulator means influence individual, that gives some advantages, telling advantages for individual as motivators, like. So, triggers are motivators. Triggers are what? Motivation which stimulate individuals to learn. In turn, it serves as a motivating tool to stimulate organization to learn. So, motivating tools to stimulate organization to learn. So, it is a motivation tool. And also it is an influential factor that influence you to do something. So, if I ask you that what is your trigger in your life? Let's say I will tell passing A level was my trigger in life. That triggered me to do a job, or that triggered me to study more and get into a job. That was your trigger. So, I will say the birth of my child was my trigger because of him. So, I thought of going abroad and earn some more money. So, what was triggered me to go abroad? That is my child. So, likewise, there can be some motivation factors which influence the organization to do something else. Let us say your organization want to develop some products. So, what was the motivation? That is, you want to achieve the market share in a high level, and also you should reach the peak level of the market share, then you can improve your income, you can increase your income. So, that is the motivation that given you to develop a new product. Let us say you are in the health industry, so you are making masks now. So, earlier you did not have that products, now you thought of developing masks and sanitizers. So, what motivators for you? The COVID-19 has motivated as an influential tool to develop that product. So, those are like triggers. So, triggers can be analyzed through various managerial tools with regard to understand the internal and external environment factors, right. There can be indirect and direct triggers. We will see what are those. A trigger can be direct or indirect. Direct triggers are stimuli that immediately and obviously impact behavior. Indirect triggers take roundabout route to influence behavior. So, triggers are influencing behavior, that influence your behavior. Let us say a simple example I have given, I will tell about. When you are in, let us say you have brothers and sisters. So, your brother is in abroad. So, you saw a picture when you are cleaning your house, you saw a picture in the cupboard or somewhere inside. So, you found that one, it is a picture with your brother. So, okay, you now understand, okay, this is my brother, how we behave in childhood and how we played in childhood, and so many memories came into action. So, then because of that photo, now you are going to call to your brother living in some other country. So, what has triggered you? that photo has triggered you. That is the influential tool that's triggered you to call your brother, right? But there can be direct triggers like this. Right. So, let us say due to COVID-19, because of COVID-19 issue, now you are going to spend more money for health activities. So, health items. So, you are purchasing masks, sanitizers, so many things. Did you buy it earlier? No. So, indirect triggers are like that doesn't directly influence you. It takes a roundabout route. So, those are the indirect triggers and direct triggers. So, I think it is very clear to you now. Let us go to the questions. The external environment is the cause of opportunities and threats for an organization. In this way, the external environment can access what of the change in organization, that is trigger. What does mean by trigger? The triggers are motivators which stimulates individual. We talk about that here. See, motivators which stimulate individuals. Triggers that take roundabout route to influence our behavior is known as what? Indirect trigger. So, next time if they ask the question like the triggers that stimulate immediately and obviously impact behavior, what is the answer? Direct trigger. So, likewise, you can create your own questions. Indirect triggers, direct triggers, we talk about in deeply. Indirect triggers can take a roundabout route to influence behavior. Change in economic cycle, economic downturn, recovery from recession into a period of economic growth. You know where is the recession, right? When this gap is there, right? So, change in the economic cycle, because of the economic cycle change. So, there can be so many indirect triggers which come to you, and let us say you are not because of economic downturn, what happened was you are not importing anything from the from foreign countries because you do not have sufficient dollars. So, then that influence indirectly increase of prices of the products. Let us say the government stop purchasing the importing vehicles. So, what happens now? Now, already purchased vehicle, the used vehicle in Sri Lanka has gone up, prices has gone up. So, if you bought a vehicle at 50 lakhs last month, today that can be around 60 lakhs. So, prices is going up because of what? That is a indirect influential tool. You stop pricing, we stop importing vehicles, then automatically the prices of the used vehicle has been increased. Let us say when you increase the price of fuel, there are so many businesses use fuel for their transportation, and also when you increase the gas, what will happen? So, then the food of the hotel also will increase, and also everything will be increased in such a way. So, you have increased only one, but that has given an indirect trigger to influence to increase the other products prices. So, the common example is that you increase gas, gas you increase, then what will happen? What will increase next? Then food will increase. So, likewise that is a indirect trigger. New law also changes in customer expectation and taste. So, when implementing very new laws, so what will happen to the customer's expectation and taste? They will not buy it. So, as an example, manufacturers moving towards producing more environmentally friendly cars, let's say electric cars, in response to the customer concern about carbon emission and pollution. So, you are spreading the word like don't use fuel cars because it is not environmental friendly. If you are an environmental friendly person, you have to buy a electric car. So, that word spread everywhere, so everybody is trying to buy that one. So, sometimes the new law will be imposed by the government. So, then the new law is we have to concern about the environment friendliness, we have to concern about the environment pollutions. So, then we have to reduce the tax of the electric cars. It was happened sometime back in Sri Lanka. Then what happened? Customer expectation and taste also change, because earlier you tried to buy the fuel car, the car use fuel, but now you intend to buy electric car because tax has reduced. Now you can buy electric car. So new laws has influenced you indirectly to buy that car. Change in product or process technology. So, change in product and process. So, the technology used by you, your organization has given a very good indirect trigger to develop new products. So, as an example that because of new technology you can download the musics. Do you go to the music shops, let's say record bar? Are you going to the record bar to download take some CDs and some cassette now? No, you are not going there now, because the technology has given very good tool for you to access via online. Those things can be downloadable. Change in communication media. Because of the use of e-business and e-commerce, the communication media that you are using at present has given an indirect trigger. So, the change in communication media. So, when you are developing e-business, e-commerce platform, the communication that you are going to establish with the customer has been changed now. Early days now, because let's say because of COVID-19 situation, everybody is using online platforms. So, now they are using e-commerce. Using e-commerce, you are going to pay for some products and get it to your doorstep. So, then there is a change in communication media. Because of this, the communication media has been changed. Earlier that you visited the place and got it done, and sometimes you call to the people and get it done, but now you don't need to worry, that you can log into the website and do the e-commerce transaction and get it done and delivered to your doorstep. So, those are called indirect triggers that influence you to buy through e-commerce platform. Okay. What are direct triggers? direct triggers are stimuli that immediately and obviously impact. What is immediately and obviously impact? It doesn't take more time to give an actions. In indirect triggers, what has happened is once when some changes happen, it takes some time and time for action. But direct triggers, that's a stimulator. The stimuli immediately and impact the behavior. The behavior pattern of the customers will be immediately affected. So those are called direct triggers. What are those? We will explain here. Arrival of new entrants, change in level of competition, change in supply chain. So when arrival of new entrants into the market, what will happen? Okay, you saw that there is a new arrival. As you have seen that Airtel came into action in Sri Lanka. What happened? The arrival was spread about Airtel. Everybody was thinking about, okay, there is a new arrival coming, that is the Airtel. So Dialog, Mobitel and all the other service providers, they were afraid about Airtel. But before it comes to action, that was directly triggers for them to develop some new product and features. Ultimately what happened? So all the other service providers won the market. So likewise there can be direct triggers. Change in level of competition, promoting a need to gain or protect market share. So direct triggers that change the level of competition. The competition level, that how you deal with the market, that also can be changed because of some of the influential factors. Change in supply chain or distribution network. So let's say due to some transportation problem in some other areas, due to disaster, so supply chain platform also can be changed. So it's a direct trigger. So when you are delivering some good to some other countries, because of disaster, because of tsunami, is that directly triggered you to stop that distribution channel. So those are the direct triggers. As example questions, an example of a direct trigger would be which of the following? Changes in supply chain or distribution network. It is given here, see. The changes in supply chain and distribution network can be named as direct triggers. In theory that I have given it to you, then it is easy for you to understand. Okay, we'll stop this session now. We'll meet with the next session with the globalization.